Welcome, everyone, to this edition of Talented Universe on this November 3rd in 2025. Halloween is over with, and it's 6 o'clock in the evening on the East Coast, 3 p.m. on the West Coast. I'd like to say hi to my lovely co-host today. Marcia, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, boy. I get a lovely today. I'm thrilled.
You get a lovely because, this is our second one today, so I had to change it up a little bit.
I'm happy to be here. Excited. Ready to go.
And Liz, how are you doing?
I am very excited to be here considering a certain guest that we have, but other than that, great. I have been dying to have this particular guest on since literally Talented Universe almost started. And I am so thrilled to be able to introduce to you Mr. Wonderful, great, absolutely outstanding, fabulous girl dad, make you cry actor all the way across the board, Richard Sharrah. How are you today?
I love you guys. Thank you so much for having me. By the way, that was the most epic intro I've ever been a part of. That was awesome. I was feeling it. I was like, oh, I'm gassed up. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Well,
Check is in the mail.
Yeah, really. One thing I wanted to ask you before we get started with all this, I know you and the entire family are Dodger fans. How awesome was that particular?
Oh my God, yeah.
Wasn't that absolutely great?
Not only was it a game, like, I'm on the edge of our seats the whole time. All the memes do it justice, where it's like people in hospital beds going, oh, like Dodger fans right now. It's like, we went through it. But like my first baseball game that I took my son to was a Dodgers game. Like the Dodgers, it's just like in the blood for the whole family. So it was an amazing experience for all of us to celebrate when the Dodgers won.
Yeah. Considering not only was it a back-to-back series win, but that's like almost the first time in history that's ever been done by the Dodgers. So that's something.
And Ohtani Brown was a third on the speech. He's like, let's go get another one. And we're like, all right, let's go.
Oh, I know. I was a little upset that they pulled Ohtani off so quickly, but yeah, okay. Yeah, it is what it is.
You
still pulled it out.
Yeah, they're like the festivities are going on right now. Actually, I think they took the parade through.
The parade.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. So, but anyways, moving on into actually what we're here to discuss, and as Michael is going, oh my God, no, they got sports again. Please get them off.
Wait till you see all the comments.
Oh wow. You have a very unusual backstory to how you kind of got introduced into acting. And I think it has something to do with your mom. You want to give us a bit of a rundown on that?
It goes all the way back to the beginning, like crazy enough. So my mom was an immigrant from Peru, and she's like the classic, like Americans, like, dream story, where she came here with like nothing. And so she was just hustling like hard. She was babysitting, like, dog walking, staying with friends and family, just scrounging up money. But then she was too poor to like afford proper English classes, like to go to like a place and sit down and have a teacher teach you. So she would just sit in front of the TV and watch old classic Hollywood films to learn English. And I swear, like, my earliest and fondest memories like ever is sitting in my mom's lap watching all the classic Hollywood films. I'm like a Turner Classic movie just fiend. Like, I watched everything. And as she's learning, I'm sitting there and equating storytelling, like, the love of movies, the classic, Hollywood. These stars like Steve McQueen, James Garner. Like, I made the joke before where I was like, I drive a motorcycle now because of the famous Steve McQueen stunt where he's trying to jump over the barbed wire fence in The Great Escape. And so I got a BMW Scrambler, an R19 Scrambler. It looks exactly like that because, like, ever since I was a baby, I was like, that's what cool looks like.
Yep. I actually, when I was a child, met Steve McQueen. My godfather was the AD on multiple different movies, including Gone with the Wind. But one of them he did was The Sand Pebbles, which McQueen was in. And as a matter of fact, he brought me home a hand-carved cedar chest from where they were filming it. I believe it was in Thailand at the time. And I still have that. It's all intricate hand-carved with, little elephant designs and everything on it. So
that's family heirloom.
Really kind of cool.
Yeah, that's like anywhere. That's awesome. Yeah. That's so cool.
With things with you as far as moving, part of my introduction was saying that you were one of the best girl dads of all time, is because not only are you an awesome girl dad in real life, but also on set. You seem to have this remarkable ability to interact with your younger co-stars, especially the females, And what I really wanted to know is a lot of your dad persona, or the real life dad, come through when you're on set with some of these younger actresses?
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people say that they're like my real life and then like my characters, the lives just kind of like blend in together. There's a lot of gray, like in the Vex, in like the Venn diagram. There's a lot of stuff in the middle where it's like shares like space, and I feel like, yeah, the intensity. Like I always talk about this. It's like whenever ask me what's the biggest difference between horizontal and vertical, and I always say it's velocity and speed. I was like, man, we are burning through pages. It's aggressive. You only get a couple of takes, then you're just moving on. But now imagine adding kids to the mix where you have limited amounts of time that they're allowed to be on a hot set. And so like the stakes just get raised. And then let's throw in another wrench into the machine. It's like, let's put 2 kids in there. And so like Mommy Don't Cry, Daddy Is Sorry was a big, huge one where Nani pulled me aside, who was the amazing director. I love her to death. We've done multiple projects together. She's great. And then the producers even told me, they're like, we know you're, a father, but can you help us out? Because we've got 2 minors on set. And there's extremely, like, they're each on different timers. So when one walks on, the timer goes. One walks on, like the timer starts. And it's like, you feel it. It gets intense because it's like, all right, you only get a couple, rehearsals. Let's block it out. All right, let's shoot it. Let's shoot. And so the more and more that they, and at the end of the day, as amazing actresses as they were, they're kids. And so as fast as adults get burnt out, the kids are like, I don't want to do this anymore. they throw
Not fun anymore.
It's not fun anymore. Exactly. So I tried to tease them a bit and be like the dad on set. I would send them on secret missions to get me food. I would be like, go give me a Diet Coke, or go get the donuts, whatever the donuts are on set. Just anything to lighten the mood or have it be fun. So it's almost like a game. And then all of a sudden they're ready to party again, and then we're shooting until midnight.
Yeah. Speaking of daughters and all, my daughter, the second I started doing stuff with you, and I mentioned this a little bit when we were in the green room, the second she found out who you were, because I had found out, and it kind of blew my mind, and I had to tell her. So she has a whole list of questions for you, but the first thing I'm going to do to lead into them is, we are talking Escape the Night. How on earth did Joey Garcefa talk you into being on Escape the Night?
I know. So what was so hilarious is that the characters that they bring on board for those things, they want them to be, it was the closest thing to what I saw and felt with whenever you watch the HBO show Westworld, is where they put you in a world, and you meet cowboys, you meet Indians, you meet pirates, and the YouTube creators and stuff, they interact with them. The problem was that a lot of them recognized me. And so they're but then also I was very, very good friends with the showrunner. So whenever I got on and I did the audition, obviously, I was doing another film at the time that required me to have a huge beard and long hair. And so whenever I walked on set and did the audition, literally the producers, everyone was just like, this guy is a pirate. Look at him. And so that was a fun one, to go right immediately on set and just be a pirate. I mean, talking about literally what is every kid's dream? What do you do?
Oh, yeah.
Cowboys and Indians and then pirates. And so it's they literally gave me the green light to just be the most insane pirate ever. I was like, let's go. I was so excited. It was such a fun experience too. They literally, it's like theater, but for a film. And so they had me interact with the actors. They had me yell in their faces and stuff. And then they had little, an earpiece in there because it's live.
Yeah.
So it's once again, I guess I'm pretty privy to all these very high stakes, you only get one take, because everything is running. They've got multiple cameras. They're hiding cameras in bushes. There's actual cameramen that are walking around with the Steadicam setups.
Yep.
And also the entire world, so to speak, they're interacting through it with me being the pirate for that episode. It was fun.
Yeah.
Oh God, it was fun.
Oh, I can imagine, because she, with what she does in her blogging, helped get enough momentum for season 4 to get filmed. Yep. And she has been working very hard trying to get the movie and everything done with season 5, which there's been rumors back and forth. Is it going to actually be on YouTube? Is another production company going to pick it up? And we heard it was for a bit, and it was going to be more of a full-length movie versus episodic.
You know better than I do, so I got to reach out to Joey. Hey, what's up, man?
She is right, totally up there at the top. But you answered. You answered actually one of her questions regarding Roark, was the fact if you had to audition for it, or you just, like you said, you
audition for it, but I couldn't. It couldn't have been a better timing.
Better one.
Because I already had the beard, and that real, by the way. That's not fake. That's real.
Yeah.
for another movie. So,
And because you guys were filming for the first time, it was actually done and filmed in New York. Everything else has been filmed out here in California. In fact, we lost season 3's set because of the Paradise Fires.
yeah.
So they were super protective of the set up there in New York. So were you guys kind of told be careful with props and stuff around it, and let's
I didn't
kind
shoot
of gentle
in New
with
York.
stuff?
I was here in LA, but yeah,
Your part was in LA
my part was in
because
LA.
we thought everybody was up in New York. So that's news. That'll be news to her then because she didn't know that. So okay, because she was going to ask for because she was going to ask regarding the winds if it was so bad because they had to shut down filming for several days in New York. So that kind of wipes that one out.
Tell her I love her. Thanks for watching. That was one of my favorite characters ever, Rorik.
Yeah, well, I think it was one of hers too. And on that note, I am actually going to pass it to Michael because we're getting a lot of people in the chat room.
Yeah, and a lot of people are just saying hi. I'll let these go first, but please only post questions to our guest, Richard, because I want to try to stay sane if I can. I have been known to go crazy when people in the chat rooms say hi to everybody else in the chat room, and I don't know what's going on. So, please help my sanity. And
He has very little left. Please.
I have very little left.
Right now, guys.
Wanda Marie Brewer says, "Hello, Richard, my favorite vertical act."
Oh, you're my favorite, Wanda.
Oh, I'll bring it back up. Yeah, here we go. Okay,
Wanda
here we go.
Brewer, you're my favorite.
Trina White says, "Beautiful."
Oh my God, thank you. I should just
And-
come on here if I ever need an ego boost. Here we go.
Well, and here's and Contessa Hashia.
I'm sorry for
you're-
making you cry, Contessa, but thank you. I love you too.
Yeah, your last show on ReelShort was amazing. Can't wait for your next one.
I know they came out of the gate hot with the Christmas one. It was like right before they dropped it right before Halloween. But yeah, now like people are like really feeling they're in the mood for it and people are watching. And that's what I was joking with you guys earlier in the green room. I was like, everyone DMs me saying whenever they see my face on the thumbnail, they're like, "Oh God, Richard's gonna make me cry. Here we go." And so they go in and watch it. And they're like, "Yeah." So they
I still think you need to get a percentage of Kleenex or
Tell me about it, man.
or just something,
You know the agent, like hook me up.
Hook you up. I totally agree. And Cynthia Badito McKinnis says, "Hello, Richard."
How you doing, Cynthia? Thanks for jumping.
And
Olga
Petraki, hello. Doris Bender, love your shows.
Thank you so much for watching, Doris. You're the best.
And Deborah Alsworth says, "Hey, Richard."
This is really cool.
And then Wanda has a thing. What would you tell your younger self? Any topic, if you had the chance to tell your younger self something.
Buy a ton of Bitcoin and Nvidia stock.
There you go.
That's exactly what I would say.
And then Lori Dameron says, "Hello," or "Hi, Richard."
Hi, Lori. How you doing?
Okay, I'm doing 4 more people. There's a lot of people. Nadia Rodriguez says hello. Cynthia Clifton McConnell says, "Hi, Richard."
Yeah, love you too. Read it again.
Oh, okay. Trina White says, "What was your favorite short and drama TV, Richard?" Oof. Do you have a favorite, or do you not want to say a favorite?
I know that's the thing. It's like asking me which one's your favorite kid. Like I feel like they all have their own unique experiences. For me, obviously.
Okay, I'll give you a thing to do.
All right.
Which one did you have the most fun on set?
Ooh, the most fun.
Or is that hard too?
I think, to be honest, I always have to go back to like the very first one that kind of like introduced me to the space, to be honest, because I still remember it like it was yesterday. I was shooting down. Had a guest spot on the show Grownish, and so we're shooting at the Manhattan Beach Studios. It's in the Volume. Do you know what the Volume is? So the Volume is the 360-degree LED.
Oh yeah.
It's where they shoot Mandalorian and also Avatar. Mm-hmm. So what they do is like when you show up into the soundstage and they basically escort you in, there's this long ramp and a giant 10 like a 3-story wall that just opens up, and then they escort you into the Volume, and then they shut the door behind you, and literally 360 view around you is just LEDs, and then the roof is LEDs as well, and then they got the little computer guys in the corner of the soundstage that can like put you on Mars in a second. they can put you at a film festival, like an outside music festival in a second, which is what we were doing. It was a music festival, and I was just blown away by like not only being at the place where like all the crew had Mandalorian and Avatar hats. So I was like, this is what they filmed it. And then all of a
that's
sudden,
too much. Yeah,
isn't it crazy? But like I'm literally in this like state of the art complex, like hundreds of millions of dollars in this place, and then all of a sudden I get a text from my manager saying, "Hey, you booked a billionaire baby bargain," and I was like, "Okay." It's like show up on set, blah blah blah, and then I show up on set and like talk about like the difference between like being in the volume, like we're talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars like a minute is being spent at this place, and then you show up on a very lean, extremely disciplined and fast moving vertical set, and I was blown away. I was like, oh my god, these guys, they're burning through pages, but in a good way. Like it wasn't something where I felt like they sacrificed quality too much. It's like they were just moving fast and moving quickly, and I was like, ooh, I think they're onto something here. Like my MBA brain was always like, there's industries, there's legacy players, there's the established 800-pound gorillas that are in any industry, but then there's the fringe players that are disruptors. And I was like, when I was on set for the first ReelShort ever, I remember even it was back before it was like, cool, before it was sexy. Like it was back when they were like begging us to like be on set. They were like, we've done this, we've done that, like you should come in. And I was like, I literally told my agent and my manager, I was just like I want to do it. I want to see with my own eyes, because I was thinking differently. I was like, I just want to see some of these players that are on the fringes. And man, when I showed up, it was phenomenal. I was like, this business model, the way they execute, the speed, it's like a startup. And so I was like, all right. Then after my first one went bonkers, crazy, like viral. They were like, it was all over TikTok, it was all over Instagram, like Facebook. It was like people that I hadn't talked to since like high school were like, why are you on my TikTok? Like, what's this billionaire baby bargain stuff? And yeah, it's like now like the light bulb went off, and I was like, yeah, this is unique and extremely, extremely cool, and they're disrupting right now. And so after the first one went crazy, then I just stayed with them the whole time.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. And this is kind of funny. She posted this before you said it.
That's right. Yeah.
Lori Minster said that Billionaire Baby Bargain is her favorite one that you've done. And it was like totally gets it. Now I'm going to head over to Marcia, and then you can come back to me a little bit later, and I'll go through a couple of these other ones.
Thank you. Yes, Richard. I originally I'm from New York City, born and raised, so I'm always interested in New York background, and I understand you went to NYU at the Tisch School of the Arts.
Yep.
And so that's kind of putting a coin in the Wayback Machine. I like doing that too.
The Wayback Machine. I love that phrase. I'm gonna steal that.
So tell me about what you remember about being in New York. What was some of your favorite moments?
So I could go on for hours about this, because I always tell my wife, and I tell people, I was like, I was born in Oklahoma, but my heart was meant to be in New York City. So like whenever I touch down, and they call us NYU ones, like your first year at NYU. So like when I was a little NYU one, which was like, naive and green, like, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, I was like, this is phenomenal. There's no place quite like New York City that I've ever been to in the world. And I always loved the aspect that like it's extremely high stakes over there. That whenever you would go to a bar, like whenever you're hanging out with friends or stuff, like you meet someone, like, they say they're an actor, they're on Broadway. You meet someone and you talk to, like, oh yeah, I'm a lawyer. They're at one of the top law firms in the world. Like you go and talk to, like, oh yeah, I'm a banker or whatever. I'm on Wall Street. Like they're literally on Wall Street. Like those are the kind of caliber of people that you interact with on the daily whenever you're in New York City. So like I loved being thrown into the deep end of that, like head first, especially as a young undergrad, and just like feeding off of that. And then that tenacity and like that grit to like push for like a New York minute. You know what I mean? I always actually still operate at a New York minute. And then when you go out to LA and you come out to the West Coast and people got to take like, their time with stuff like that, I always get kind of anxious, and I'm just like, come on guys, we could have done this. We could have done this like, 5 days ago. But that's exactly why I think I felt so at home on the vertical space. It's just like they move so fast, and I just feel like, oh, it's like East Coast vibes. Like I'm loving this. It's like very, business, like, move. But I'll do this. So not only was NYU Tisch such a phenomenal experience, the love affair that I had with New York City, I actually tried to bring that into like, the world with my wife when I was dating my wife now, back when we were still dating, she always heard the stories about New York, about my undergrad experience at NYU. She always wanted to go. And so I got on the phone and talked to one of my old roommates there. So we're going down memory lane. Like I said, we actually all got motorcycles. So there's 3 guys on motorcycles. We called ourselves the Shadow Crew. So they're like these beat up, dinky Honda Shadows, like 650cc, like, nothing too crazy, but just enough to like, survive on the streets of New York City. And that experience and like all the memories that I created on that, I would always like, talk about and brag about whenever I was interacting with my wife back in the day when we were dating. And so she's like, I want to see that. And so I called my buddy who was still there at the time, and I'm like, hey, can I borrow your bike and give me 2 helmets? And he's like, yeah, it's like, anything for you, bro. So we land, we go straight, we dump all of our luggage and stuff at my aunt's place that she used to live on the Upper West Side. But then we would take the motorcycle, and we literally connected the dots, and I would tell stories all over Manhattan of stuff that I did back when I was an undergrad. We're racing across the Brooklyn Bridge. We're getting pizza at the place I used to go all the time. It's pushing like midnight, 1 a.m. now. We're like racing back. We're going to this place called the Waverly Diner. It's this diner where the waiters actually recognized me from undergrad because we went there so much. And then I'm introducing them to like my girlfriend at the time, but now my wife. And they're just like, oh yeah, Richard's back. And they start screaming. They literally, we went there so many times that when we would show up, they would already start firing our order because they knew what we were going to order. And it was the banana walnut pancakes, like, breakfast spread. It was like, scrambled egg, bacon, sausage, and then banana walnut pancake. Like it was such a cool, like, coming back and like reliving all these beautiful memories that I had, but now with like the one that I love the most in my life, which is Jessica. And it's like, she tells it too. It was like a movie moment. We were driving back. We literally had partied all day, all night. And we were driving up Broadway as the sun was coming up. For sunrise the next day, and I'm looking back on the bike, and we're racing through like dodging cabs, and she's back behind me just squeezing me and stuff. And then we go and park the bike and then go pass out because we had partied for just like 48 hours straight. But it was one of those phenomenal moments where I was like, I just got to share the place that I love the most with the woman that I love the most, and it was beautiful. That's my long answer.
I'm reaching for the tissue now.
I love New York City. That's my long answer.
That is so sweet. And I give you 10 gold stars for motorcycling through Manhattan. I mean,
right. I know. You're like, I won't recommend this, but I'll tell you what I used to do is that, because it's always congested, there's always traffic. It was always like a big plus when you're late for something and there was an ambulance that was going. So you would basically wait for the ambulance to come by, and then you would just sneak in right behind it.
Tag on.
He would break all the traffic for you, and you would go like all the way up from like the bottom. It's like straight up to the Upper West Side in like less than 10 minutes. It was great.
Wow. And is that where I know you were in some musicals like West Side Story, and was that in New York experience? Or?
It's like off Broadway. I know that's the joke, but there was like some stuff in upstate New York. There was some off Broadway things. But like that one, the one in upstate New York was a big one. We did Into the Woods, where I played one of the princes. I played the charming prince, It was like what happens after Happily Ever After. And what was so cool about it was because it was in upstate New York, I actually got to ride in through the crowd on a horse.
Oh, wow.
So like Prince Charming was on a horse, and then I got to like, dismount off it, hand off the horse, and then start singing and go on stage. So it was definitely one of the coolest like times I've ever been on a stage.
Wow. And then also South Pacific. That
was a touring group that I did over in like Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas. That was like that was like right in high school area. Yeah.
Wow.
It was a while ago. Man, you really did go through it.
She has a very, very well used Wayback Machine. Yes.
You moonlight as a private investigator? Man, you're going deep.
No, that's Liz's. That's Liz.
Liz. No, I'm just CIA. I've told you that before.
But I thought we weren't allowed to say that.
CIA, whatever.
But I'm also curious. I know you've done many probably since then, but do you remember the first time you somebody asked you for your autograph?
Oh.
And what that felt like? I
will admit, it's like when it first happens, you're like, oh, this is cool. This is really freaking cool. But like, I can't remember. There's a couple of things where. So my last year of NYU, me and a buddy, we made a film for a film festival, and that was all it was made for. So we ended up winning it, and we got the award, and we're like, oh, that's cool. We want it, whatever. And we put it online, and it was back when YouTube was young. and YouTube was still pushing like creators instead of just like late night hosts and stuff where you just get lost. Now it's like pay for play. It kind of sucks. But it was back when, like, it was really was Wild Wild West. And when it went viral, like it went viral. And it turned into this whole phenomenon. It was called Kidistry. And so snippets where like kids tell the stories, and then me and my buddies, we would act out using the kid voices. And so anytime I go now, like it got to the point where we did like brand collaborations with Disney, Mattel, Lucasfilm. When Disney did the acquisition of Lucasfilm for episode 7, The Force Awakens, they reached out to us to film a commercial for them. And they loved our videos so much, they actually put us on the front page of StarWars.com. And so that's what got us a lot of attention to try and sell the TV show version of it. So that's when we started teaming up with people like Buna Murray Productions. They're the ones behind Project Runway, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And they said, hey, we love what you guys do. Extremely brand friendly because you're family friendly comedy. And so we did a team up with them and started pitching to become a TV show. But yeah, like whenever we were on the front page of StarWars.com, that's whenever like I would go to Disneyland and just get stopped, because anywhere there's like families with kids, it was just game over. I was like, oh, hey, it's that guy. So it's like, all right, hey guys, what's up? Taking pictures, signing autographs.
Wow. Yeah. So had you practiced your autograph ahead of time, or
I practiced it now? I feel like in today's digital age, like the autographs isn't as like, requested as much as selfies. So it's like selfies, like come in here and get a selfie with me. They always have someone, because the phones are everywhere. And so it's not so much the autographs anymore. It's like, just high-fiving people and taking selfies, even recording videos with them. And like Liz, if I had met you at Disneyland and you would talk to me how much about your daughter, like I would literally like, just offer it, be like, hey, turn on your phone. Let's make a video for her. Let's make a video for your daughter. And so I'm always down to party and like, help people out and like give shout outs to people.
And you were talking about Lucasfilm and whatnot, and you're a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, Star Wars
too, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was definitely a pinch me moment, because I grew up watching it, obviously, like everybody does, and you're a huge fan. It was like I was a Jedi, obviously, for like Halloween one year, but then all of a sudden the Lucasfilm is reaching out saying, hey, we love what you guys are doing, come, and they gave us a soundstage at Disney Studios lot, gave us the Cantina bar room set, so like where like they ask milk or something, or like they get the drink, and then Han Solo shoots Greedo. That's the set they gave us. Exactly, that's what the set that they gave us. And they said, we love what you guys do, just do your magic. They gave us actual stormtrooper outfits. They had a hair and makeup team that would actually change the entire appearance of one of the other guys in our little group. And like it was just literally one of those like giddiest times that we've had ever on a set, where it's like, okay, they love us enough to just basically give us the green light to do whatever we want with this amazing set and amazing characters and like all the different wardrobe. I think what was funnier is that they gave us such legit stuff, and what made it so funny is we contrasted it with our ghetto like Spirit Halloween costumes that we wore, which only made it funnier, because we're like bringing our ghetto like Spirit Halloween costumes into a real world Star Wars set.
Wow, super cool. I think I'm gonna give it back to Liz.
Oh, I'm glad you did, and it's kind of funny that we're kind of talking about your nerdism, shall we say, because I had a question for you. I already knew the Star Wars stuff, but if you had a choice, who would you choose, Marvel or DC?
Oof. Like what's so funny is
what's behind you? That was going to be mine.
I know.
You got everything.
Superman. Yes.
I'm literally drinking out of a Superman cup. So.
Yeah, I saw that too, but yeah.
I think, yeah. So the short answer is yes, Superman. So I've been called Superman, and it's been kind of like a thing for me for like a very long time, since I was like young. And then my wife just took it and like ran with it. So I always make the joke that it's kind of pathetic at like, when it's Christmas time, I look like I'm an 8-year-old boy, because I just get Superman.
Oh, wow.
It's just Superman backpack, Superman drinks, like Superman gym bag. Like everything is just Superman. And I love it. I eat it up. I'm just like, I don't care. Like that's what I bring to set. I did a cameo. I shot a cameo for someone who requested to see like my set bag, like what I bring. And they were just dying laughing, because it's just all Superman stuff. Just all Superman stuff. So like in the quick answer is yes, DC. I actually would argue that it's kind of been frustrating to see like Warner Brothers kind of like fumble with it. Like obviously Christopher Nolan did an amazing thing with the Batman franchise. Phenomenal. And then all of a sudden, ever since then, it's like you would argue that DC has better source material, but yet their execution has just been kept fumbling the ball, where Marvel just took it and ran with it and was making like #1 movies after another. They made it like clockwork.
Oh,
and
yeah, easily.
Yeah, it's like heartbreaking to see that. I was excited to see what Henry Cavill did with Man of Steel. I like what they were doing. I always felt like, it was on the right tracks when Christopher Nolan was like overseeing it, but then he got distracted with, I think it was Inception or like Interstellar. And so he kind of like lost his oversight on it. And then of course they went wayward. And so I was like, I think if he had stayed on it, it would have been done correctly. But then now obviously it's just like, now, I mean, it's up for sale now even. It's like, it's crazy what's happened with the legacy, media. Like, don't get me started on like, fumbling the ball on like the entire industry, so to like, let alone just DC.
No, I agree with you on that. And I think there's multiple reasons I think it fumbled. But also, I think their biggest loss was losing Henry. I'll be honest with you. I mean, that was the biggest loss. But the reason I kind of brought that up between the two is this has been floating around. We're huge sci-fi nerds, my entire family. And my nephew and I were floating this idea around because he knows I do these verticals. And he's like, wouldn't it be cool if you guys do something like what another actor did? Eric Gilmet did a show called Campus Rivals, and he brought together all of his friends to kind of be in the movie.
Yeah.
My nephew thinks it'd be kind of cool to do a similar concept of that and have like all the main leading actors and main leading actresses maybe come together and do a almost crossover world of kind of like the Avengers versus, some of the stuff from the DC world. And just kind of do a mismatch of that, and maybe 3 or 4 consecutive.
Preach, like, tell me about it. Like, I've gone on my soapbox about that too. Like, there needs to be a shared cinematic universe of verticals, where it's like you bring everybody together. And I actually use the Avengers as like an example, but there's also beautiful other examples that you can go and fray into. I mean, I just got done making a Christmas movie, and I wouldn't shut up about the idea of making like a Love Actually with all the vertical stars.
Oh, that'd be fun.
It would pair perfectly because there's all the different couples and they all interact with each other in like a beautiful storyline. Like if you had a Christmas shared universe Love Actually with vertical stars, game over. That thing would just take over.
And in fact, I think Hallmark has kind of done that with some of their stuff. Their Christmas on Mistletoe Lane, and then they've kind of branched that out to different, families or different storylines with that. So yeah, that actually probably would work. But you had spoken before of, that you kind of got to do some of this other work, but you have a certain tie-in to one of your verticals with a gaming video that's coming out. Would you like?
Mommy Don't Cry Daddy, sorry. There's a game that they did. So yeah, it went so stupid bananas viral that they actually made a mobile app game version that you can play, and it's interactive. And it was actually really cool. Whenever they brought me back to corporate and they shot the promo videos for it, they gave it to me to kind of like test and play with and stuff. And I was like, I literally was in the thing and I'm geeking out going, oh, this is so awesome. I was like a little kid again. I was like, I grew up on video games. Like I love stuff like that. And to be told that your show was so successful that now you're a character in a video game, that was another thing. That was another one. That was where this is cool.
I think it would be. And I know that verticals, along with a lot of other different things, are literally shot all over the world. But you also have the unique ability to the fact that you grew up, and I believe your dad was in the oil industry, and you guys kind of traveled a lot. So you've already been to a lot of places.
I've lived everywhere.
But what place would you like to go to that you haven't been to?
Oh, God, haven't? Jeez.
Haven't, as in have not.
You know what? What's so crazy is that of all the places that I've been to, I still have yet to go to Turkey, but yet Turkey shoots hundreds of these. Like what I learned whenever I was like, being more involved in the vertical world, Turkey is one of the biggest consumers of rom-coms. And like it was only natural that they would embrace with open arms the vertical world. And that's exactly what they've been doing, is bringing out literally all of my friends. They fly out to Turkey and shoot these things and then come back. And so it's like, with my schedule being so crazy, I'm so jealous. I was just like, I want to get flown out to Turkey and shoot one of these things. But yeah, like that was new to me, that Turkey consumes and absolutely loves rom-coms.
I can see that. And with the way the industry has grown so much over the last few years, I mean, when I started with the original Chinese ones, before it was ever westernized. And then I got into the westernized and I got like maybe 3 apps. And I'm still a hardcore ReelShort, but
Love you too.
but it has now exploded to so much. I've literally lost track. The last time I looked, it was like at almost 80. And I think it's more than that now.
I know.
It just keeps exploding and exploding. And this industry is getting so big. So it's just, who knows where it'll go and how many different places and what storylines that we're going to see, coming forward. I've talked to some people that are now producing true horror movies. I've talked to people that have done actual soap opera continuing episodes, day after day shows of things that are filmed like in South America. So where would you like to see the industry go at some point?
Like I said, you have another hour? I feel like
we have as much time as you do.
I know that the Love Actually shared universe stuff is one of my big soap operas. I think that's a huge untapped, like blue sky kind of opportunity for them to try and, if you have these established players, use them. And then in the same vein, I would actually say the franchising. So a lot of these ones, especially with like Mommy Don't Cry, Daddy Is Sorry, for instance, it was like such a mega hit that they created a video game out of it that would only warrant, in the legacy business model, they would just say sequel. It would automatically be greenlit. And so like I would actually argue that the same mechanisms for greenlighting sequels should say, I mean, you could literally just like, it's like clockwork. It's like you hit above 200 million views, 300, whatever you want to name it. But the moment that it goes over there, it already proves the product market fit and the demand for more. And so you would automatically greenlight and start the writing team on the sequel. And so the sequelization, because I remember there's a couple of my buddies that you would get into like, the long, dissertations and arguments about like what to actually call these things. Because if it's actually a series, they would have season 2, season 3, but they never do. So in essence, like, what is it then? Short drama? Is it a movie? Like, like what is it? Man, like I said, it's like with getting like lost in the vernacular game and the syntax. Like I would just say they should bring it and call it a series, because like at the moment that it actually like warrants it, greenlight the second season. Like, why not? I think it's like the easiest decision. I would love for also the idea that, I mean, they're getting very, very scrappy now because there's so many new entrants into the marketplace, and all like you just said, it went from like 3 apps to like 80. And so the real power plays and the power moves will be acquiring IP. So ReelShort just did one where they had like the author on, and they're doing interviews with some of the other players on the app, where you go out and acquire IP that's synonymous with X, Y, and Z, especially for the Western audiences. And then you can kind of differentiate yourself in the market that you are the source, and you are taking book IP and bringing it to life. And I feel like the ones with deeper pockets and the ones that are more established actually have the coffers to actually afford that, whereas the other ones have to be a little bit more scrappy. But it is, at the end of the day, it's a tech company. And I think a lot of people lose sight of that. And so they have their data scientists and their data engineers who are going over where people fall off, where people stop pay throughs, where it has the biggest pay through, where the most people have interactions on the apps and stuff like that. And that's what they reverse engineer for the new scripts whenever they come out. And I feel like there would be another amazing opportunity to get those guys, as much as it's hard to get left-brain people to work with right-brain people. It's like, if they start doing it correctly together, now you're cooking with gas. If you have the data analytics feeding the moments in a script where you have someone who's artistically, talented enough to actually make those moments believable and true to a story arc, oh God, game over. It's like game over.
Excuse me there, I was coughing for a bit. Michael, I'm going to hand it to you because it looks like we have a lot more.
That's what I was just writing you. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Great. That's the great minds. Yes, exactly. Now, I think you did mention it, but I think someone missed it. Shirley Fraser said, what was the name of the Christmas movie that you just finished?
Someone Loved Is Never Lost.
That's what I thought.
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
Yeah.
You can already tell in the title that you're going to cry.
Yeah. And Pam says, such a great actor, husband, and father.
Oh, God, Pam, I love you too. You're the best. I love this. I'm getting such like a boost here. My wife will believe any of it.
Yes, our Game of Thrones review show host says, "Hello all. Hope you are all doing well this evening."
Hope. So you're a true lover of Game of Thrones too. So my ringtone for seasons 1 all the way to the end was Game of Thrones. When it would go off,
Oh,
like,
wow.
so like anytime it
Oh,
would
that's too much.
beating or go off anywhere, everyone would just start laughing. I was like, oh, it's Richard, Game of Thrones. Like,
Did you watch House of the Dragons?
Of course. I'm diehard.
Well, if you're really that diehard, we're planning on doing a review show of that. If you'd like to join us, if you're not doing a vertical, which
I am down to party.
chances are you're going to be, but I will send you an invite in case you can come. So
I love it.
Yeah.
You guys are great. This is fun.
yeah, we're crazy. So yeah, it's just, we
I love
really
crazy.
are.
I feel right at home with crazy. Let's go.
Well, it's nice being crazy. You know, sometimes it is. And Celeste wants to know, how are your kids? You seem like a great dad. That's another comment from the other. So how are your kids doing?
They're doing great. So I think the OG fans, like the ones who have been with me since the very beginning, who started posting when Maverick came out. So that's my oldest. He's about 7 now. And then there's Cosette, which has her own like unique storyline. It's funny enough, I can get into it. I think we got a little time.
Yeah, we do.
We were pitching the TV show back whenever we were on top of the world with like Star Wars. Unit Murray came to us and we're just like, oh, high five. We got a celebrity attached to the show that had a first look deal at CBS. And so we're at CBS studios talking to the executive who greenlights. And guess what? Because our celebrity already had a show, multiple shows on CBS, they were just joking around, high fiving each other and like shooting. I was like, oh my God, we're going to sell a show. We're going to be on TV. And then after the meeting was done, we're like high fiving each other. We're like, we did it. We're going to be on the TV. March 2020.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
We went from top of the world to nothing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And then my daughter was born April 2020. So my wife is holding a crying baby. I'm like, what are we going to do? And so
I mean, as so many other actors and other people on our show have said, timing is everything.
it is everything. And I felt it in the bad way, in every bad way possible. So I was like, so like when you're like, obviously, I don't know if you have kids. I mean, obviously Liz has spoken about it, Michael, or like Marsha, like there is no excuse. Like there's no way out. Like you just have to provide. So it's like, I felt like I had multiple guns to my head and I was like, all right, what do I do? What do I do? I just got done making relationships with all the top executives across LA at like Netflix, Fox, Hulu, like everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I was like, they all have MBAs. Let's go. So I literally went back, blew the dust off of like trig that I had touched in like 15 years. And I studied and crammed. Did you hear that?
Speaking of, yes.
I should have turned out. I wasn't lying. I told you. And then I just crammed for the GMAT. So you have to take a GMAT and get a good score to get into a good MBA program. Right. And so I'm just like, when everybody else was just like, you know, staying at home and like making sourdough bread, I was just studying. I was like, study. But then you have to go take a test at a testing center where they have cameras on you. Yeah. And because you're not allowed obviously to cheat and stuff like that. And it's a high stakes, you know, test, but it's COVID. So I'm signing up for one of the last places that has it or like offers it. And then I'm cramming all day, all night. And the next day they shut it down. They say, sorry, COVID, we shut it down.
Timing.
Oh my, exactly. The timing. So like, I feel it. I'm just like, it's like, where do I go? I sign up for like the very last place in all of LA that offered it. And then I cram. I go in the next day. I take it. It's an all day affair. I put my fingerprint on it. Like, obviously I finished the test and then they shut it down the next day. So I was just like, if I did bad, I can't even retake it.
You can't even retake it.
I can't even retake it. So I was just like, woo, like talk about intense. I like actually, funny enough, reminiscing on all these very intense moments with you guys. I just live in the intense mode. Like the cortisol is just high all the time. So anyways, the results came back. I did well. I got a couple of offers, some big scholarships from some places, but it was USC that I was like, all right, let's go. I'm going to be a Trojan. So that's where I got my MBA. And we talk about like a hard pivot. I was not even thinking about an MBA. I thought I was going to be on TV. And then March 2020 hits. I cram. And then July 2020, I'm in my first class as like a student in my MBA program.
Wow. That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts. But I love it. I think it was one of those things where, like refiner's fire kind of like thing. It's like, where you really know who you are when you got your back up against the wall. But it was one of those things where it was like one of the craziest and best decisions I ever made. Like, especially for me and my family, but then everything as well. Like a lot of the stuff when you sit down and talk about business strategy and like where you're moving. I mean, hell, I would actually say thanks to my MBA is why I said yes to this in the first place. Because like I said at the beginning of the thing, I was like, I wanted to see how somebody operate on the fringe. That's where the disruptors live.
Yeah, and then you saw what they did, and you were impressed.
I was impressed. I was like, especially with my like MBA mindset, I was like, you guys are doing something very different. And I think
you had the background. You had the background. Yeah. So that makes so much sense. And so you do not regret it at all, except you regret COVID coming and messed up that opportunity.
If I could have my cake and eat it too, I could be on TV and get the MBA. But I think it was one of those things where if the show didn't go to zero and COVID didn't happen, I would have never been. So yeah, I will never look back with regrets. It was a phenomenal thing that happened. But if I could write the story of my life, I would try to give myself both.
And who knows? maybe it will happen.
I know.
Maybe one of those executives will remember that and say, right when COVID hit, there was something. And they just have to,
It's special. It really is. It was a special show. It was a special format. And Julie Peasy over at Bunim Productions, she's phenomenal. I always tease her and stuff like that. After a couple of, she's like the president of all Bunim right now. But whenever I saw her in the room and we would leave, I was like, I will go to war with you. Like the way that she would I saw a professional pitch in a room when I saw Julie Peasy pitch. So I was like, she was phenomenal.
Well, we have gotten some likes on Facebook. I'm just going to go list some of them quickly. And then I'm going to go to Marsha. Okay. Celeste, Angela, Hope, another Angela, not Nadia, Kayla, Cynthia, Lori, and there's a whole bunch more that I can't read because there's so many. There are over 12 people that have given us a like on Facebook. We do appreciate it. If you did give us a like on YouTube, we can't see it till after the show, sadly. But thank you. Thank you. Marsha.
Yeah.
Turn that Wayback Machine on again and see what you come up with.
Well, I could go way back, but I have to talk about your Kid History Foundation, which really touched my heart and touched so many other people. Yep. And how did that start? It started
actually, it was organic, which is always the best kind of anything for have this genesis. It was that when it got pretty big to where we would go and do live premieres for whenever we would. I mean, this is something that we literally released on YouTube, but yet it was such a huge fan base and everybody wanted to see it that we would go and sell out theaters, multiple showings a day. And we would go, because obviously the biggest draw was that we would show up too and they get to interact with us. And we would sign autographs, I would kid you not, till 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. Wow. And there was lines all the way out the theater. And what was so unique about it, which is why Bunim and Murray saw the opportunity there, was that it was multi-generational. You had grandparents with their kids, which were parents to their kids, and they were all fans. The grandma was just as giddy to meet us as the grandkid was. And so it was just this unique little offering that we had where there was no demographic. It was just everybody, because it's cute kids being cute. And then we were just the idiot, adults acting out over it with the kid voices. So the funny thing is that a lot of the instances when I would meet these fans for the first time, the little 3-year-old girl that would just go to bed every night watching my videos, she would start crying when she met me because I didn't have a 3-year-old girl voice like she was used to. And so she was like, his voice is so low. Oh my God. But yeah, it was nuts because we would travel around, do these showings, and then you would read you would hear from your audience. It's talk about audience research. We were literally having them right in front of us talk to us till 3 a.m. And some of them were saying they loved our videos so much that they would use it as bait for their kids to do their bedtime routines. They would read, they would brush their teeth, get in their PJs, and then watch one of our videos before bed. So, you had these die-hard fans that were not only kids, but like I said, the parents themselves, and then grandma and grandpa jumped up board too. So it was great. It was great.
And also what's cool about it is that they'll live, as long as YouTube is out there, they'll be there.
I know. And that's what's so nuts is that I was doing those back when I was single. Like I wasn't even married yet. And so then all of a sudden I had my wife, and then all of a sudden we had kids. So Maverick and Cosette watched my Kid History Kid Snippet stuff not even that long ago, where they were like, what is this? And like, talk about like a mind-blowing moment. I was like, I made these things like in my early 20s. And then all of a sudden my own kids are watching them and eating it up. They think it's hilarious. And so like, yeah, that's one of the few, well, not few, but like I always make that joke. There's a few good things that happen because of the internet, and that's one of them. So.
Yeah. And I've also seen where you post some things about your family that's so sweet and charming, and you talk about your wife, you married a real princess, because she used to do princess. And she was quite good at it.
She was amazing. Yeah, she was phenomenal. So the correct vernacular that Disney corporate likes you to say is they were friends with Sleeping Beauty. You were friends with Ariel. But I was just like, yeah, she was Ariel. She was Sleeping Beauty. But for the longest time we were dating. I was in LA. Funny enough, I think there was an old FaceTime video of me dressed as Chewbacca on the Star Wars set. And then she's in Orlando princessing as Sleeping Beauty. And I like Chewbacca is talking to Sleeping Beauty.
We're talking about crossover.
I know, like Disney needs to reach out to us and do a bit, because it's like there's nothing more like funnier than that. I was on set shooting a Lucasfilm commercial, and then my now wife is Sleeping Beauty in Orlando at Disney World, and we're both dressed up in the costumes, like interacting with each other. Like I always made the joke that because we were like an internet couple for the longest time, because we were just separated by space. She was in Orlando and I was working in LA. But one time I kind of surprised her. We did our usual bedtime routine, and I said, all right, good night, bye. And immediately I raced over to LAX. Caught like a red eye. Through the night, I land in Orlando. I catch a cab. I go straight to the parks. I know she's working the early shift, and so I time it right. But I grew up with just brothers, so I had no idea that you could wait in line for 3 hours for princesses. So I was like,
yeah,
it's so long, and I'm like, why am I waiting 3 hours? And then
there's not Star Wars I'm waiting for.
I know. I'm just like, oh, whatever. It's like she's worth it. I'm gonna wait. But then all of a sudden you get the weird looks from the dads who are with their daughters. It's like, why is this guy alone in the line with all the girls? And I'm like, I swear to God, it's not creepy, guys. I know the princess. And so, yeah, we finally got there. And of course, I got her. That's what I wanted. I wanted that movie moment where she's like, and they're like, yep, got you. So I interact with her, do the whole thing, let her do her spiel. She's so good at it.
Now she's the princess. Which prince are you?
She was.
You got me on that one, Marcia. I was going to ask the same thing.
So,
Disney prince.
She's the princess.
I love
Prince
Chris
are you? Yeah.
He's like the classic prince where he has a sword and fights the dragon. I love that.
I was going to say Chewbacca was the prince.
I'll share this with you. So my wife was so phenomenal at what she did. She was so good at interacting with the kids that there's an entire hotel space for the Make-A-Wish kids whenever they asked to go to Disney World, and she was the princess that they would interact with. Wow. And I tell you, I was getting emotional whenever she would interact with these kids, and she would talk about the dragons that they're fighting in their life, and, the prince that they would have, and just literally right off camera, you would see their parents just bawling. Because these kids are meeting for all intents and purposes, that's Sleeping Beauty that they're interacting with, and especially because Jessica's so beautiful and so good at what she does, they literally felt like they were meeting Sleeping Beauty. But she would talk to them so beautifully and talk to them about the dragons that they're slaying in their life and the princes that they have that are helping them fight those dragons. And I was just like, yeah, that's where you saw what's so special about these characters that Disney has, that you can literally talk to a Make-A-Wish kid. And my moms are crying, saying it is literally their wish, and they got their wish granted when they're interacting with the princess.
Yeah, and even princesses that's a magical time, and Star Wars is kind of like that too, because when kids meet, or even adults meet Chewbacca, or who meet Han Solo or C-3PO, I've seen them turn into little boys, little kids.
I know the pejorative term whenever they, people talk and make fun of them, they call them Disney adults. But I actually think that there's something unique and special with the fact that they can go to a place that's safe for them to have their inner kid come out.
It's
And
beautiful.
so it is a unique perspective to have that, they've got this little supposedly safe place safest place on earth for people to be their true selves and interact with these characters that they loved ever since they were kids. It's beautiful to at least be like a degree of separation from that, but seeing it firsthand with my wife. And then now she always calls up her princess friends and stuff like that. And then they go and have these unique experiences with our kids now. So she's recreating the magic with our kids. And it's just beautiful to see.
Wow.
Whenever the whisperings, whenever you talk to them, is like, this is an ex-princess here with the kids. Like they like, roll out the red carpet. Like they take it. Like it's beautiful. It's a beautiful moment.
And talk about beautiful moments. I'll pass it back to Michael. But I saw a photograph of, I think you were in Greece, where you showed this incredible vista of this blue-topped building, and you look kind of precariously placed there, but it was gorgeous.
What is that? Because like I'm like scared now because that was like my first musical ever in high school, or maybe like is that what you're pulling from? Because like Greece was the one that started this entire journey. Oh God, I don't want to piss you off. I'm scared that you're like
find things that you'd be surprised of.
Like that's what started it all. I remember I was chasing a girl at the time, and I acting, none of this stuff was like in my future. Like I literally was raised to be a doctor. And so I was on the track to be a doctor. I went to like the National Youth Leadership Forum on medicine for it. It's like the cream of the crop of like doctor bound kids from high school. And you're like your counselor has to submit you. You can't even submit yourself. But me and my twin brother got in. But then there was a girl that I was very interested in, and she was in the show. And then my buddy, my close friend in my English AP class, he was just like, I know you don't do anything after school. Like, just come on, just do this. And I was like, he's like, she's in it. And I was like, all right, whatever. I'll think. It's like, as long as I get to rehearse with her, yeah. But then I got into the show. Game over, seriously.
Wow.
I know I've used that term a lot, but that definitely was. It's like I felt like I know what it's like to get the bug. Like I was on stage, I had a couple lines that I would just kill. Everyone's laughing. It's so I was just like, oh, the power that you wield when you're on stage as a performer, and the audience is in like the palm of your hand. I love stuff like that because it would remind me of like those beautiful moments that I had as a kid. Because like in its purest form, I'm just sitting in my mom's lap and we're just staring at a box. It's just this dumb little box that has little screens and lights that like, but then yet my mom is crying, but yet my mom is laughing, and we're experiencing these emotions that, if you really wanted to get me going, I would actually argue that the emotions that you feel on TV sometimes are more real than the ones you feel in real life. But it's like, that's the beauty and the power of storytelling, is that you're just staring at a box, but yet you're feeling so deeply. And then fast forward as just a baby having those experiences, and now fast forward to now, where this vertical world. So I know, like I said, I could talk forever. Are we supposed to close up? But I'll end on this. So I was going back and forth with one of the, he was like a UTA agent, and I was talking about the uniqueness of the vertical space as opposed to the legacy media world that I came from. And I was talking to, because I have friends and stuff who are on shows, series regulars and stuff like that. But then yet, why is it that whenever they put me on a billboard in Hollywood, that my socials went crazy, and then yet the fans of ReelShort actually started running around Hollywood and connecting the dots and taking pictures and tagging us of all of our billboards throughout Hollywood? And we're talking like they put the billboards up at the same time for the FICE events, for your consideration for the Emmys, for like other TV shows that were on FX, other TV shows that were on Disney. And I was like, how much fan interactions did they have with those billboards? And I was like, there is this romantic idea of a connection with the actors that you love that is none other that I've ever seen in the vertical world. And then I was like, all right, so let's try to break it down. It's a very intimate relationship that you have with these vertical stars that you love so much, that you like, that move you. So for instance, the ones that DM me the most are the ones that are saying like, I'm watching you crying at 3 a.m. in bed holding my phone. I was like, where can you recreate that? Like, you can't get that in a movie theater. You can't even get that with a TV on your wall 10 feet away on your couch. You're literally watching in bed a phone at 3 a.m. when you know you got to get up at 6 and yet you're bawling your eyes out. And then they start messaging me telling me how moving it was and how beautiful it was. And I was like, man, like this connection that the vertical world, you know, the stars of the vertical world have with their audience, it's like none of them I've ever seen. I've done, like, you know, the network pilots. I've done the big, like, blockbuster. Does it move the needle at all on your socials? No. Do these? Mine, like, skyrocketing, like, all on my socials. It's crazy. And, like, I'm more than grateful to interact with the fans and stuff and talk to them, because I almost feel like there is that romantic, they're within reach. I mean, I'm doing your podcast. I did other podcasts and stuff where the fans can jump on and I interact with them. You don't really get that kind of access with anywhere else. That's what's so unique about the space.
Well, thank you so much for. I think we may be closing up if we can. I don't know. The fans may not let us, but thank you so much for sharing with us. I hope you've enjoyed it 1/10 as much as we have. So,
love
Michael?
you guys. Yeah, my new favorites.
Yeah, I'm going to let Liz do a closing question because I'm not going to get to the rest of the questions in the chat room. I am so sorry, but, you know, I will show them to Richard after we go off. But there's a lot of people in there. They love you. And, you know, I mean, it is obvious. But Liz, final question, tormenting. If you want to turn on your Wayback Machine or turn on the CIA stuff, you know, whatever you want.
Yeah, let's go.
No, I'll just hop on the TARDIS and go.
Okay, fine. Okay.
That works too. Actually, no, I just have one question. With everything that you've done, is there one piece of film that you hope never, ever hits a blooper reel?
Because Liz has it. No, that's right.
You have it? Oh,
I
wow.
probably do. I had Nick's.
I'm very, very raw. Like, I show BTS stuff that's not very, like, you know, doesn't show me the best of the light anyway, because I just love the fact that it's like these characters that we portray, especially as, like, you know, I'm always like the CEO billionaire. I'm like, I command the room, blah, blah, blah. But then they see the goofy behind the scenes stuff. Like, I even posted today, everyone just loves saying, your sets seem so much fun. And it really are. Like, I try to have an uplifting set. I take that as, like, you know, a badge of honor, especially, like, you know, that number one on the call sheet. I believe that there's a responsibility there that you, like, kind of, like, you know, it's your set. You get to run it, and it can be either as miserable as you make it or as fun as you make it. And I try to make it as fun as possible. And so, yeah, I'm sure that there's extremely embarrassing BTS stuff that you have, and I have some too, and I'll probably release it also.
Noted. And one just other quick thing. My daughter wishes that she was much younger than 20 because she is jealous of Cosette with what you just did for her. And she wishes that her dad is a girl dad, 100%. I don't play with dolls. He played with dolls with her the whole time. And she wishes that he had done the spa day like what you did with Cosette. But
I know.
I thought that was really cute.
I can take credit for that. It's like, you know, Jessica set that up. But then also it's like cozy. We're trying to create literally magical moments with the kids, like, you know, on purpose. Like, we really are. Like, I want them to have the magical childhood, especially like those magic movie moments that I was so happy to create for my wife when we were dating. And then now we continue on in, like, our married life. We're almost like focusing that kind of energy and time, like, into the kids now. And the kids have these moments where, like, anything is a yes. Like, what do they want? And that was one of the things that Cozy asked me. She's like, I would want to have a spa day. And so we're like, all right, let's go. We ordered the stuff and we did it. I get my nails painted. I like the whole 9 yards. It's fun. I even did that mask, that moisturizing mask for the first time.
Oh, God.
I was like, all right. I'm all in.
You know, these are memories that she's going to have forever, though, of her dad. You know, and that's something you can't replace. So
I know, like, and that's what a lot of the mothers who would DM me and say that, they were just like, I mean, like I said, the interactions that I have with the fan base are like none of, like, I've never had before. And the honesty that they have when they share with me these things of their life, they're like, you know, my father passed away last year. He's like, but these are the moments that I remember. Is like, I had like a spa day with my dad at like 7 years old. Yeah. And like, I'm reading these things and I'm just like, it almost makes you say, okay, I'm doing the right thing. It's like, to be present, have those moments and create them, because you almost get to have the time warp like Marsha does, where you get to go back, but I get to go forward because I have a lot of the older audience in my DMs telling me, she's like, these are the memories that I reminisce of my father who's passed away. So it's like, do a lot of them, and be present for them. And so I always say, I love you. Thank you for sharing such an amazing, intimate, moment like that. But that only gives me more energy and purpose whenever I try to do these things with the kids.
Most definitely. And I'm definitely going to say, I probably could talk your ear off, and I'm not joking, for at least another 2 hours, but I'm not going to do that. I was just going to say, thank you so much.
This felt like 2 minutes. I was like, all right.
I know. But I'm going to say thank you so much for taking your time. And it's been an absolute blast talking with you. And, hopefully we'll get a chance to do it again sometime. And I cannot wait for another show of yours, because, yes, I did cry my eyes out with the last one you did. Why
Sorry,
does it
and she called me and told me she did.
Do you have to out all of my secrets, Michael?
Yes, I do, because you were just you bug me so much about getting him on the show.
Okay, fine.
Well,
so you are a huge fan.
Seriously,
yes, I am.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
Well, I'm glad you came. I know your schedule is crazy, but we'd love to have you back if you ever had some time.
We'll do.
Yeah, but everyone out there, if you missed the beginning of it, which I saw some people did because they did make comments, I just got in here. You can start from the beginning again. Mm-hmm. It's always on YouTube. Sadly, it doesn't stay on Facebook, only 30 days, but YouTube, it's there. So everyone, have a great evening, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.